welcome back to my channel. This is your Madhu Kirtana. You are watching Study with Kiru. So today's video is about NCERT Social Geography 7th class Lesson 2 Inside Our Earth. So the learning objectives of this lesson are: after this lesson you will understand interior of Earth, rocks and minerals, rock cycle. So that's it about that. Now let's get into the interior of the Earth. What we'll get into? We'll get into the interior of the Earth. So the interior of the Earth, there are layers, several layers. Those layers are crust, mantle, core. Okay. Crust is 35 kilometers above. About 35 kilometers on the continental crust. So as you can see here, can you see it? So this is the upper one is the crust. Okay, the upper one is a crust. That is the crust, and on the continental floor, on the continents, it ends up to 35 kilometers. And on the oceanic crust, or else oceanic floor, or else ocean floor, it ends up 5 kilometers. That means there is the depth of 30 kilometers for an ocean. Okay. Now it's all about core. Core is in core we have two types. It's not core, it's crust. In crust we have two types, that is continental crust, and one more is the oceanic crust. What is it? Oceanic crust. The continental crust is made up of sile, that means silicon and aluminium. Okay, it's made up with silicon and aluminium. The rocks are rich in silicon and aluminium on the continental crust. Okay, and in the oceanic crust, Sima, which is it contains Sima, which is silicon and magnesium. In this on the oceanic crust, rocks are made up with silicon and magnesium. Okay, now if you see, next our part is, okay, before that, mantle. Mantle has like two times. Mantle, the upper parts here, as you can see here, the yellow color one is the mantle, and a little bit reddish it is there, na? That is core mantle boundary. Okay, what is it? Core and mantle boundary. So the mantle below, under the crust, is a little bit like it is liquid. It is liquid. It is as liquid, and under that, after several kilometers, under that there is a solidified mantle. Okay, it is solidified. It is with rocks, and in the liquid mantle, it is containing plates, tectonic plates. Okay, and we have to discuss about the height. That is, the mantle is 2,900 kilometers below the crust, and the crust, where the crust is the thinnest layer. What is the thinnest layer? The crust is the thinnest layer. And next, mantle is 2,900 kilometers below the crust. Okay, now let's go into the core. Core has two parts, which is outer core and inner core. So you can see the deepest one, and there are partitions here. You can see, means it's okay, or else just leave it. I'll share you the pic at last. Okay, one is outer core and another is inner core. So this core is made up of Nife. What is that? Nife. What is Nife? Nife means nickel and ferrous. Ni nickel and Fe ferrous. Okay, there are the symbols. Okay, Ni nickel, Fe ferrous. Core is made up of Fe ferrous. Continental crust is made up of Si silicon, Al aluminium. Si silicon, Al aluminium. An oceanic crust is made up of SiMa, Si silicon, Ma magnesium. Okay. And next, course radius or else the depth. It is around 3,500 kilometers radius. It has 3,500 kilometers radius. Okay. And next we'll move on. Now our topic is that is rocks and minerals. Okay. Rocks are of three types. One is of igneous rocks, sedimentary rock, metamorphic rocks. Okay. Igneous rocks. What are igneous rocks? See, when you had you ever saw and had you ever seen when an volcano erupting? When the volcano it erupts, the molten lava erupts lava. The lava is the molten magma. Okay, let's leave it. It's called molten magma. And see if you can see molten magma which erupts out from the vent of an volcano mountain. Okay, after it erupts, the lava which falls on the ground or the crust, slowly cools down and solidifies. So, in after it cools down and solidifies, it becomes as a rock. Okay, as a rock. That rock name is igneous rocks. Igneous rocks are of two types. How many types? Two types. How are igneous rocks formed? Igneous rocks are formed when the molten magma is erupted from a volcano, and after it cools down, there will be a rock formed which is called igneous rocks, which contains minerals. Okay. And there are two types of igneous rocks. How many types of igneous rocks? Two types of igneous rocks. In the igneous rocks, the two types are intrusive and extrusive. Intrusive rocks and extrusive rocks. Intrusive rocks means the molten magma which lies below the crust. The molten magma which lies below the crust, or else it is inside of something, which cools down after taking so much time. Okay, if it cools down after taking so much time, that forms an intrusive rocks. The example of intrusive rocks are granite, which are found under the earth by digging up. Okay, so the intrusive rocks examples are granite. Okay, you can I'm telling you something. So see, if the molten magma cools down without the air getting in contact with air, like it is not in touch with air or atmosphere, like it is under the crust or inside the earth, that molten magma which cools down and forms rock is called intrusive rock. That rock is called intrusive rock. And now let's jump into extrusive rocks. Extrusive rocks are the rocks which are formed on the surface of the earth. The intrusive rocks are formed in the interior of the earth. Okay, in the interior of the earth, the rocks formed in interior of the earth are intrusive rocks. The rocks formed on the exterior of the earth is called extrusive rocks. Okay, what are they called? Extrusive rock. And next, extrusive rocks are formed on the surface of the air, and this is the reason why they are called extrusive rock. Example, the Deccan plateau. It's made up of all basalt. It's made up of basalt. The grained structure basalt, made up of basalt rocks. Okay, the grain structure, it is made up of basalt rocks. The Deccan plateau is made up of basalt rocks. Now let's go on to the sedimentary rocks. Sedimentary rocks means, so when the fine grain structure of a grained powder of igneous rocks, okay, fine grained powder of igneous rocks is like, it is okay, it when it gets in contact with wind and water and vanished away, and it's left on the banks of the river, and which forms sediments. And see, when there is some grain or else sand, there is a windstorm. Okay, windstorm, the wind will take away the upper layer of the sand with it, and where does it leave? It does leave in the water. Okay, it does leave in the water, or else it leaves wherever it wants. When the wind stops, it leaves there only. Okay, and these grained structure, wherever it is leaved, the water, when it rains, the water takes away the sand particles or the dust particles, along with it grained particles along with it, and goes into the river, and the river water will leave all the heavy particles to its banks. Okay, what it will do, it leaves all the heavy particles to its banks. Okay, and next, these banks are formed higher and higher after so many days or years, after so many years. And when we dig up, we and when and they with the because of the heat and high air pressure, they form a rock. That rock is called sedimentary rock. They are formed because of the sediments made by grained particles, are the made by the grained particles of igneous rocks, are kept in heat and high pressure inside the earth, will form an sedimentary rock. Okay, as this completes, and what is a metamorphic rock? It's a question mark you have. So, a metamorphic rock is a rock when igneous rocks and sedimentary rocks are kept under more heat and air pressure or pressure, will form an metamorphic rock. When will the metamorphic rock will be formed? When the igneous rocks or sedimentary rocks are kept under, or igneous rocks or sedimentary rocks are kept under high heat and pressure, will form metamorphic rock. Okay, is it okay? So now these metamorphic rocks are formed when igneous rocks and sedimentary rocks are kept under high heat and pressure. And now, when we look into deep, the metamorphic rock again, what is again kept under heat and pressure, will form molten magma after so many years. It takes lots of time. I'm not saying it will take it will done in a seconds or a hours or a days. Okay, it takes a time, but when the metamorphic rock is kept under so much heat and high heat and pressure, then it will become into and molten magma, which is of liquid, and again that molten magma erupts and form igneous rocks and sedimentary rocks, and then metamorphic, igneous, sedimentary, all again it will follow as a cycle. This is called a rock cycle. What it is called? Rock cycle. What it is called? Rock cycle. So let's have a small recap. We have learned about the interior of the earth first. It was what we have learned, interior of the earth, and see it now. So the layers of the earth: crust, mantle, core. Crust is divided into two parts: continental crust, oceanic crust. Continental crust is containing of silicon and aluminium. Oceanic crust is containing of silicon and magnesium. And the continental crust, the depth of the continental crust is 35 kilometers. In the oceanic crust is 5 kilometers. Next we have to go into mantle. Mantle is two different types. The mantle which is below the crust a little nearly is of liquid, and next below that there will be a solidified mantle, and the mantle depth is 2900 kilometers below the crust. Core radius of 3500 kilometers, and it is of two types: outer core and inner core. And next it is made up of nickel and ferrous, which is nickel and iron. Rocks are of three types: igneous rocks, sedimentary rocks, metamorphic rocks. Igneous rocks is formed because of the molten magma, and which are of two types: intrusive and extrusive. Extrusive are the rocks which are formed above the earth, on the earth, or above or on the earth. Intrusive rocks are formed inside the earth or in the interior of the earth. Sedimentary rocks are formed by the sediments of grained particles of igneous rocks, metamorphic rocks are formed when igneous rocks and sedimentary rocks are kept under high heat and pressure, and these rock form, and when metamorphic rock is kept under high heat and pressure will form a molten magma, and this molten magma will form an igneous rocks will form sedimentary rock will form metamorphic rock. Okay, completed. We have learned about three things, which is of interior of the earth, rocks in minerals, rock cycle, and you have completed everything, and the recap is also done. And so I am thinking that you had understood about this all, and it is very easy, and this is a very easy lesson, and completed my lecture. I am back after so many days because of my exams, and and I am thinking that it will be helpful for only some people who are having the exams after the holidays. And thank you, and it will also help the people for next year. Okay, and bye bye, that's it. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share. And if you have any questions, please ask in the comment box. And if you want any more things, or like general knowledge or anything, if you want videos, please ask me in the comment box. Okay, and ta-ta, bye bye.